Because the main way that we, in my generation, understood the world was through reading. That's why it was so important. That's why reading got this incredible supremacy. It was our way of understanding and seeing and comprehending the world. But today, the main way our kids understand and comprehend the world is through technology. It's through simulation. My kid did his project on the London tubes. He's 8 years old. I'll tell you about him in a second. And that was great. He did this usual research on the lines and the age and when it was built and all this. He wasn't very excited until we found a simulation where he could drive a London tube. And suddenly, he was incredibly excited. And he's driven every single line in the London tubes, and he knows the schedule, and he knows where to stop, and how to go, and what to do, and what happens when they break down, and all the things involved because he did it. All of these devices will now read to you. Right? So reading is now a technological kind of thing. You can put everything you want to read, as I know one woman did, a professional. She had a lot of reading to do. She put it all on her Kindle, and she just listened to it while she drove to work. What's the new text? Video. This is a friend of mine who's a consultant who said that. Video is the new text. We're getting important people in the world, and I say important people, I mean Nobel Prize winners, for example, who make videos that they don't write down about things. So if we're going to try to create what I call the best education ever in the world, we have to learn to futurecate. And the opposite of futurecation, just to take a second, is pastucation. This is Sky, my 8-year-old. He's in 3rd grade. Last year, he had a pastucator. He was fortunate. In kindergarten, he had a great teacher. In 1st grade, he had a great teacher. In 3rd grade, he has a great teacher. In 2nd grade, he had a pastucator. She did all the things that were on the curriculum, absolutely. But her classroom looked like my 2nd grade classroom 60 years ago. Here's a picture. It's all books. Right? Nothing but. It's nice, but that's what it was. And I hope you're cheering because you know that this is not preparing him for the future. Okay. This is the issue here. This is the big issue. A classroom that is all books, with all the computers off, with no constant connection to the internet, with no computer writing or out on the walls, is pastucation. And we teach far too much of it. Whether you like it or not, it's really true. We don't need pastucators. We need futurecators. And I want you all to reflect. And again, whether you like this or not is not what matters. You need to reflect on how much of what you do is pastucation and how much of what you do is futurecation. And you need to reflect on this because if you talk to your kids, they all understand and want only futurecation. That should be the goal of our system. And if we want to maintain the high scores, and we should, of course we want to maintain the high scores. I'm not against high scores, I'm for them. But we have to do higher scores through futurecation. If all we do is do the old stuff to get our high scores, we are not serving our kids. Because an education from the past is no longer enough. It was fine for us. It's no longer enough for the new context. And I don't want anybody to get me wrong and send the people out to misquote me and say bad things about me, because I'm not saying eliminate the past. I'm not saying eliminate reading. I'm not saying that. I'm saying rebalance. Rebalance for the times that we live in. If you think it's all about reading, you are living in the past. If you think that it's a balance of reading and new technologies and new ways, then you are living in our times. Some of you may have been to Washington, D.C. This Shakespeare quote is written on the National Archives. The past is prologue. The prologue is not the book. The prologue is that little piece at the beginning of the book. And this is my favorite quote. Yes, we have to show reverence for the past, absolutely, but not live in it. So today, most of our education needs to be for and about the future. Futurecation is what your students expect from you. Futurecation is your job. And it's just really, more than anything else, a state of mind. It's really thinking differently and orienting yourself to what will be happening in the future and what our kids really need, as opposed to what we got and what we really needed when we were educated. So I invite you all to reflect on how you could do less Pastucation, because we all do it. I would do it if I stood in front of you. But we want to get away from that towards Futurecation. How do I do that? And that takes a lot of thinking.